Hello, and welcome to Jihad and the World. This is the second in a series entitled Islamofascism. In this episode, we will cover the origins of the term and the fascist party. It builds a foundation for future podcasts in which we weave political Islam into Italian fascism to form a new ideology, Islamofascism. So, what are the origins of fascism? What is it? Fascism is a political philosophy shaped by Italian intellectuals soon after the First World War. In its formative years, fascism blended socialist and authoritarian ideas and offered an avant-garde artistic aesthetic. In literature, Ezra Pound's Cantos showered praise on the fascist regime. Pound embraced fascism as a political religion based on elements of duty, blood, and national sacrifice. Fascism was anchored in nationalism and a cult of heroism. The Italian poet and unofficial bard of early fascism, Gabriele D'Annunzio, designed a stark black uniform and proposed the Roman-style salute adopted by the fascist party. Beyond his nationalist prose and verse, D'Annunzio distinguished himself as a dashing aviator in war, losing an eye in combat. He was politically active between the world wars and earned the moniker Lyrical Dictator, a title that inspired Mussolini's seizure of power in 1922. Though he fell out of favor with the collapse of the fascist regime, he is still acclaimed as one of Italy's greatest poet-novelists. Early Italian fascism was both futuristic and atavistic. Writer and art critic F.T. Marinetti wrote, "Futurism is a man-made optimism opposed to all chronic pessimisms. It is a continuous dynamism, continuous becoming, and tireless." Futurism glorified cars, industrial machines, and modern cities, while praising violence as a means of leaving behind imitations of the past and projecting itself most efficiently into the future. Italian fascism also looked backward. While it identified itself with the Roman Empire and rediscovered rural traditions, Marinetti was still appointed to the Italian Academy, which held Moonlight in high regard. As we will see in future podcasts, Muslims also look backward to a golden age of Islam. This is the first generation of Muslims. They also look forward to a new golden age as Islam takes root throughout the West. Political underpinnings of fascism. In the 1830s, Giuseppe Mazzini, still revered as one of Italy's founding fathers, saw the individual as less important than the state. Giovanni Gentile denied that democratic ideals had been part of the Risorgimento. Italian fascism was the first fascist dictatorship to seize a European country. It was the first to establish a military liturgy, a folklore, and even a distinctive way of dressing. Italian fascism convinced many European liberal leaders that the new regime was implementing progressive social reforms and offering a mildly revolutionary alternative to the communist threat. German National Socialism, the Romanian Iron Guard, and the French Nouvelle Droite. Some Muslim intellectuals liked what they saw in fascism, which is the subject of detailed commentary in future podcasts. Giovanni Gentile defined the term as a spin on the French revolutionary fraternity and on Marxist communism. Italian fascism was less totalitarian than Nazism or Soviet communism because it did not control every aspect of society. The regime established in Italy in the 1920s was supposed to operate on behalf of the entire nation in the name of the people. Mussolini tried to keep different social classes and the church happy. As dictator, he had the tools to distribute resources to allies and harm enemies. This became clear when the Depression devastated the Italian economy. Mussolini had his economic policymakers move swiftly in key sectors. FDR looked to Mussolini on several issues. In 1929, after the Great Depression had hit Germany, an opinion poll of German voters found that, in their view, the greatest statesman of all time, aside from Adolf Hitler, was Benito Mussolini. According to the poll, Mussolini was even more popular than King Frederick the Great of Prussia. This contrasted the Weimar Republic's weakness with the strutting and beefy Mussolini as a strong and decisive leader who had made Italy great again. Giovanni Gentile, father of fascism. So, who was Giovanni Gentile? He was born on May 30th, 1875, in Sicily. He began his university studies in Italian literature and philosophy. Gentile's work focused on education and, secondarily, on policymaking. His dissertation examined native Catholic thinkers and the German idealists. His second book was a critical examination of Karl Marx. While writing it, Gentile became acquainted with Benedetto Croce. In 1900, Gentile wrote his important essay. In 1906, he became a professor of the history of philosophy at Palermo. In 1917, he moved to the University of Rome. In 1922, Gentile became Minister of Education in Benito Mussolini's first cabinet, where he reformed and reorganized the entire Italian school system. He was the first president of the National Fascist Institute of Culture and remained for the rest of his life the regime's most prominent philosopher of fascism. Gentile wrote numerous books and essays. After Mussolini's fall in 1943, he returned to public life as a supporter of the fascist social republic established by the Germans. He was assassinated by an Italian communist in 1944. His ideas were foundational in developing Italian fascism and Hitler's National Socialism. After Italy's defeat in World War II, younger intellectuals, led by Ugo Spirito, formed the Gentilian left, which emphasized class struggle over racial or national struggle. Italian fascism was not entirely totalitarian. There was room for debate on certain elements of socialism, and some freedom in art and literature. The early Italian futurists were nationalist, but many were very free-spirited. They celebrated speed, dynamic art, masculinity, and youth. Many future intellectuals of the Communist Party were educated by the Fascist University Students' Association. This drift from fascism to leftism would make political Islam attractive in some circles. It is a recurring theme in many of our podcasts, as you will see. We will begin to define fascism with more granularity in the next podcast on Islamofascism. To summarize, the term fascism was coined by an Italian intellectual soon after World War I. For one generation, it thrived in Italy and elsewhere. After it was discredited and purged from European politics, elements took root in leftist political circles. The hard left expropriated and revised key fascist principles. Some Muslims also adopted key fascist ideas to develop something new. This is Islamofascism. This concludes this episode of Jihad and the World. It was the second in a series of podcasts focusing on Islamofascism. If you like it, please subscribe and hit the like button. Nothing in this podcast expresses the official position of the United States government. Until our next podcast, on behalf of Kensington Security Consulting, thank you for listening.